pretend it was a beautiful day and that, people were just getting a tour and took a wrong direction.
If you're for Trump, you get the hookup. That's what it is.
I pleaded guilty because I was guilty. I'm not a victim of January the 6th, and the DOJ was not weaponized against me.
Let's hop into another CNN panel, this time with Pam Hemphill, a January 6th rioter who we actually interviewed on our show. So they discussed Trump, obviously the pardons, January 6th, that kind of thing. So be sure to like this video, subscribe, and buckle in because we're going to hop right into it.
The DOJ is saying everybody's pardoned, not just because of what they did on January 6th, but all of the other infractions, which include some violent crimes, weapons charges, all kinds of other things. What do you make of that?
It's horrifying. No, it should never have happened. I pleaded guilty because I was guilty. I'm not a victim of January the 6th, and the DOJ was not weaponized against me. I was a volunteer. I broke the law. It's that easy, and they do not want to face that.
And that's really all there is to it. The people did the crimes, including some horrendous acts of violence, and they're all now being pardoned for it. People who have done other heinous things are walking free, and this is disturbing for two big reasons. Obviously, it sets a horrendous precedent, one that says, hey, you can obstruct our democracy, you can delay our peaceful transfer of power, you can threaten our lawmakers, you can attack our cops, and as long as your party ends up winning the election, who cares that you did it? But because a lot of people have also done these heinous things, like not even pertaining to January 6th, you now have emboldened criminals walking free. It's one felon literally freeing over 1,000 others.
Why are they trying to pardon these people for everything?
Well, first of all, let me just say that I have immense respect for Pam. I serve people on Capitol Hill that pretend it was a beautiful day and that, people were just getting a tour and took a wrong direction and that everything was perfect and there were no guns there, no police officers were harmed. And here we have someone who went there and just is taking their responsibility. That's what should have happened, period. I think what's going on here is that there was a debate, I think, within the White House whether to do this again with a scalpel or with a hatchet, which is a theme we're now seeing, and they took a hatchet. And when they did that, they realized that they pardoned some people that shouldn't have been pardoned. Remember, J.D. Vance said, if you were violent that day, you're not going to get a pardon. That was a direct quote.
And yet they still immediately pardon them, even the ones who attacked the cops who died. Who would have thought that Trump and Vance would lie to the American people? And they're speaking about Enrique Tarrio at the beginning when they mention harassment, who has been harassing anyone critical of the January 6ers, including the judge in his case, including the cops who put their lives on the line to defend our democracy that day, as if they're the traitors and he isn't, because that's the kind of person that Trump pardoned. And if you're wondering what he was charged with, who this man is, well, just seditious conspiracy for literally conspiring to take over the House and Senate, including kidnapping Congress members to literally steal the election and declare Trump the winner. So a total stand-up guy.
Is it because there's no accountability? They figure, why not? Who's going to stop them?
Yes, exactly. If you're for Trump, you get the hookup. That's what it is. Like, I'm sorry to be that blunt about it, but
you're not wrong.
if you just look at the last month and a half of how the administration...
support and loyalty.
Yeah.
May I say something?
Absolutely.
No, see, Trump lied about the election, right? And he's lying about everything. So what he has to do, he has to keep his narrative going, that the DOJ is weaponized against him. And they're coming after me, but they're really coming after you.
Well, Pam, having no reflection on you, you have to say the DOJ was weaponized against Donald Trump. And you could say the Manhattan DA's office was, and the New York State Attorney General was. There's no doubt about it. I practice in this area of law. That case that was brought by Alvin Bragg in the Manhattan District Attorney's Office was the first of its kind in the history of the United States of America.
That's quite literally just a lie. We've shown this numerous times, but here's a list of all the people, multiple people, who all the way back to 2010 have been charged with the exact same charge, falsifying business records in the first degree, which is a felony. Nothing was weaponized against Trump. No charges were made up for Trump. He committed literal crimes and was indicted by a grand jury of Americans on those crimes and found guilty by a jury of Americans on those crimes. All of his appeals failed, even with nonpartisan appellate courts, bipartisan appellate courts. Even the conservative majority Supreme Court denied stopping his sentences and saying there was nothing wrong with the trial to do so. The way MAGA literally just can't cope with this indisputable fact is disgusting. They voted for a felon, own it. They gave up all of their previous beliefs to follow him and anointed king, own it. And they put power over country, own it.